I'm so happy to be joined by Leandi. Leandi is currently a volunteer, working as a volunteer here at the Cape Town Yarn Festival. And she's pretty extraordinary because she's in the craft business. She's a teacher.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So Leandi, please tell us all the crafty things you're doing, all the fabric, all the textile arts you are dabbling with, and what you do.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be lovely to hear.
Thanks for having me. So my name is Leandi. I am a fashion designer. I live in Komiki, small little seaside town just over the corner here. Yeah, and I've been working for quite a few years as a designer. I specialize in textile development, so I make a lot of my own textiles. I do weaving and knitting and a little bit of felting. Through the years, I've just been kind of expanding my craft and had the opportunity to work with some incredible people around the country who's, just taught me from scratch. Like Carle's been amazing. Stephanie Bentham, she's taught me how to felt. She's an absolute master. I've worked with Adele from Adele's mohair. So I've worked a lot with mohair specifically. I did my master's thesis on mohair as a sustainable fashion fiber a few years ago. And that's kind of like, where the love has really solidified for the fiber.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes, and I've done quite a few collaborations with the designer Frances van Hasselt. She works mostly with textile design, and she's an entrepreneur from Prince Albert.
Oh wow.
Yes, so that's like the gist of it. And then at the moment I am a lecturer at the Design Academy of Fashion.
Wow.
We are in Woodstock, and it's been quite an exciting couple of months because we've collaborated with Mohair South Africa.
Wow.
Who are like just incredible. They are so supportive of local.
For sure. And also this Cape Town Yarn Festival, they've been such a big sponsor.
No, they're just like super generous, and I think what like the best thing about them is that they really recognize and try to foster local talent. So anyway, we've partnered with them this year, and they've facilitated a program that we're running at DAF through our curriculum, where we are putting textiles back into education.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been like even when I was a fashion student, it was so difficult to learn how to make textiles because it doesn't exist anywhere in the curriculum anymore.
Really?
Yeah, they've kind of taken textiles, like a fashion school is a reflection of the industry.
Yes.
So they've kind of removed the textile segment of fashion design because we don't really have much of a textile industry in South Africa.
Yes.
On a bigger level.
Yes, I understand.
So, it's kind of an aim to close that gap a little bit between just designing your wildest dreams but not understanding where the fiber comes from and not understanding how textiles are made.
Yeah.
So we're specifically working with mohair and starting up a little textile studio where we'll be teaching students how to weave and how to knit and how to felt, and just kind of touching base with all of the local craftspeople and textile makers in Cape Town to just first of all let them understand like where the fiber comes from. Mohair is South African, it's from the Karoo, and also to love the fiber, and then to go into learning how to make textiles so that your final design kind of respects all the steps and is really like very true to yourself, which is has been my design philosophy. So I think it's really exciting that we get to introduce that on a high education level.
That is amazing. I never thought about the impact of how if I can say economically, and the impact of businesses like, do you call it, not fabrics? Where do they make these things? What do you call it in English?
In Afrikaans.
Wat is 'n fabriek?
A factory.
A factory, yes. Sorry, I'm actually Afrikaans speaking. A factory. So like all these factories that would have, pushing through making textiles from whatever sources, right? So we don't have that. And I never thought how it can actually impact our educational system.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
never.
yeah.
So you saying that, it was like, wow.
No, for sure. And I mean, so when I studied at DUT in Durban
Okay.
years ago, and it used to be Durban a course in fashion design and textiles, and then over the years the textile sector of it completely fell away, and I was like rummaging through some storeroom, and I found literally like a whole cupboard, like cupboards full of table looms that had been just like thrown into the back of the storeroom. I took off like the newspaper roll, and this was what, like now 7 years ago. The newspaper roll reads something from 20 years ago. So that's for me, that was kind of like an indication of how long this hasn't been taught. No one could teach me how to weave. What? No one. And I mean, Durban also, our craft like community, I don't think is as strong as it is here. But yeah, it was for me such an exciting opportunity, but I couldn't find anyone to teach me. So I think it's really valuable to kind of slowly start bringing that back, because on like a global scale, the conversation is changing a lot from in this, you know, the sustainable fashion movement to understanding like from ground level, farm to fashion. What does the soil look like? What does the animal look like? What does the environment look like? Who are all the people that are involved and participating from the beginning, and then from there moving on to the textiles and how that is made. So it's an exciting time, and I feel like very lucky to have so many people that are involved and excited. Like Carle's been amazing. She's going to come and help us do some weaving classes.
Oh, that's amazing.
I think everyone's been so excited because it feels like something has been missing for so long.
Sure.
And having all that support.
I think it would be also for the students having appreciation for the fabric that you're going to use and cut out to be able to do this fashion.
Sure.
So to be able to really, really have appreciation from where this is coming from, and also knowing the characteristics of that fiber.
Exactly.
That is important to be able to design your piece.
Yes, like why is mohair different to wool? Like how is it made? Why is it shiny? So that you can kind of like make all those links.
Exactly.
And when you make your textile, you've got like a stronger understanding. And then once you've taken like so much time and care into making that textile, you've got like such a reverence for it that you're not just going to go and like cut whatever pattern, and that's how people do things nowadays. You've got a respect for the textiles, and in that way the whole circle just becomes so much more like slow and considered. For sure. So it's I love exciting.
That. I'm actually shocked that it's not in part of the system or the educational, you know, like there's a gap there.
There's such a gap.
It's mind-boggling to me actually.
I know the last university that had it part of the curriculum was NMMU, because obviously PE is in the there's a lot of support there. So this is kind of I think in a couple of years, the first time that Mohair South Africa has just become involved in, it'll be the first step back into putting textiles into
the curriculum. Oh, that's amazing. The top I know is acquired from Japan. But I want to know about this beautiful top you have on your lap.
This beautiful top is the most simplest kind of knit that you can do. I love knitting, but I'm not the most, I'm left-handed. So I learned how to knit in a very strange way. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but this is, I made this a few years ago. It's just got all mohair, various kinds, and you can see this is more of a kid silk mohair. Then we've got something that's a little bit heavier, and just different colorways. And I mean, it's so simple. Literally, it's just squares that are stitched together.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I see. It's like a boxed.
It's a box
jersey design, and then the sleeves is on the side.
Yeah, but I've had this is so simple to do, but I've had so many compliments, because I mean, I think people can see if something is made by hand versus what you just
and it's not saying that does not mean it says there's gaps and stitches are lost. It just It is special.
Yes,
Yeah, you can definitely see
exactly.
it. I want to ask you a question because
Yes.
when you said when we're talking about mohair South Africa, and you specializing, or your crafts are felting, weaving particular, I think
Yes,
more so, and then knitting.
Yeah.
I've seen felting being done with merino.
Yes.
So I was thinking felting with mohair.
Yes.
Is that a thing?
So merino obviously have those cuticles that
Yes.
stick out, so or merino or wool makes it a perfect type of fiber to felt with, whereas mohair's cuticles are very close to the surface.
Right. Okay.
So it actually doesn't felt.
Wow.
Or very, very lightly.
Yes.
So you always have to, mohair's like the sprinkle of shininess that you add in. You have to felt it with wool.
Okay.
Because the wool retains the structure, and the mohair kind of gives that like special shine.
Yes.
And it also kind of marbles the fabric, because
really?
it goes from, well, if you use carded mohair, it goes from a straight fiber, and once it's wet, it like goes back to how it looked on the goat.
Yes.
So it's a really special and exciting textile design method. But like I said, Stephanie Bentham, and she's in Somerset West. Okay. She really is like the absolute master, and she's become a very good friend of mine, but she's the one who taught me, and I think does it on a very like beautiful and sustainable scale.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy to hear that you are partnering with Moe South Africa to try to fill the gap in our education system for our textile designs and making your mark there. And thank you so much for being part of the interview and giving me some time crafting. I'm thinking about Kitchener stitches and whatever. for giving me some time to be able to talk to you. I loved it, and
most welcome.
I love the work that you do. Thank you
so much.
Welcome to Cathy from Petal Print Stitch. I just call you with like a love, like Petal Prints. Then I know who I'm talking with. Petal Print Stitch. So I've been so excited to come to the Cape Town Yarn Festival to buy something from you. Because I've been keeping out my eyes on your Instagram and seeing all the beautiful things you make. So Cathy makes the most beautiful yarn bags, needle cases. But I think it's so special because of the fabric that you use, right? So, and we're going to talk about that. So I was like, I need to buy something from Cathy. I have so many bags, right? But I need to have something.
When you're a knitter, you have bags.
You a lot of bags.
I maintain if you're going to spend a lot of money on quality yarn, you need a nice bag to put it in.
Yes, I agree.
You've got to care for it.
For sure. So I will still show you. You might have seen it already. I'm not sure how what am I going to show first? But you will see my Petal Print Stitch bag. I'm so excited. It's got cats on. So Cathy, how did Petal Print Stitch started?
I can't even remember how many years ago. Maybe about 5 years ago. I used to have a stationery business. I used to make bespoke stationery before my daughter was born. And she was born in 2014. And then I thought I'll just take a few months off.
All right.
When she started grade 1, I started finding time to be creative again.
Oh, wow.
And I was painting watercolor, flowers.
Yes.
And I loved painting. And then I thought, what am I going to do with what I'm painting? So I thought, somebody said to me, make fabric out of it.
Yes.
So I'm quite okay in Photoshop. So I managed to put together repeat patterns in Photoshop, and I found someone in Cape Town to print fabric digitally on hemp linen, and I printed all this fabric, and I started making tea towels and little bags and purses. Did the Gabriel's Kloof market, and that went well. And then I had such a hard time with the fabric printers. They just gave me so much grief.
Really?
Took so long to make the fabric, and
no.
so that got a bit irritating. And by then I had just discovered all the other amazing fabric. around the world. And I'm fortunate I have a cousin who lives in Singapore and a stepdaughter who lives in America. And before COVID, we used to travel quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I just built up this stash of amazing fabric. So I started using that.
Wow.
And it's gradually evolved into, I like to use organic cottons. It's always 100% cotton or linen, and the Liberty lawns. And I'm lucky in that my husband's daughter comes back from the States at least once or twice a year. And
Oh,
she's
wow, lovely.
very, very kindly puts my fabric orders in her suitcase.
Oh, that is awesome.
And also metal zips in bright colours, which you don't find
No,
in
you
South
don't.
Africa.
Yeah, that's true.
So I get my zips in, and I get my quilted cottons and my linens that are printed in canvas. And then locally I source linens and Liberty Lawn. There's a supplier in Sunset West.
Wow.
And I just love the colours and the designs and putting everything together, and no bag is the same as another one.
No,
Yeah.
I can
Every
vouch for
thing is
that.
different.
Looking at
Yeah.
your store yesterday, that is
So,
true.
so it started with flowers and printing them and stitching them, and it just evolved from there. So Petal Print Stitch.
But then, how did you get to? Because you were talking about tablecloths and those
Yeah,
type of, and kitchen
yeah,
towels and those
yeah.
types of things. But then evolving to project bags and
Yes.
needle cases. How did that evolve?
I made two, and I look back on them now, they were very basic, horrible project bags that I sold at that first market because I was like, oh, I can make a bag and you can put knitting in it. But I didn't interface them, they weren't stiff on the sides, nothing. And then during COVID, I started to knit again because I hadn't knitted.
So
in
you
years.
are a
I am
knitter.
a knitter.
Okay, that's
I've
what I
always
want
been
to
a
know.
knitter. And then I thought, but you know, you need a bag with this and you need a bag with that. And then you get to know other knitters and they go,
Yeah.
oh, I'd like a bag, but I need that sort of pocket. Or
Yes.
some people like to have their tools on the outside of their bag. Some people like them on the inside. Some want a zippy pocket so they can put their car keys so that
Yeah.
it doesn't hook in their knitting. And then I started collecting interchangeable tips and cables. And where do I put these? And then somebody came to me with one of those leather needle purses that someone had bought overseas and said, can you copy it? I did. I copied it, which was bad. And then I knew sort of how. And then I thought, but how would I make the bag? And I made a smaller one than what I have now. And I used that, and eventually I'm like, no, this doesn't fit enough. So then I sat and I designed
A proper
a
one.
bigger one
That you would love.
that I would use, and then I would get a couple of my knitting friends to use it and tell me what they think. And then someone said, but I need one for my crochet hooks, so I adapted it for crochet hooks. And then I've had someone ask, can I put my Tunisian hooks? And then now recently for sets of DPN needles.
Yeah.
And then for fixed circular needles,
Yes.
you need, because you have that bag of spaghetti.
Oh, joy.
So to organize those. And I take feedback from people. Like I'll make one and they'll go, you know, it would have been really nice if it had been this bit bigger, or if you'd had a pocket for that.
Yeah.
Or a friend will come and say, I need a bag that does this or that. And then I design one.
Oh, wow. So you're always evolving from your
Yes.
client feedback.
Yeah. I do custom orders. What I like to do with custom orders is my normal patterns that I make.
All right.
So for me, a custom order is you want that bag that I normally make, but let's choose what fabric you want, and then I'll put the bag together how you want it in color and fabric.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get people who want me to actually custom design something specific. That gets tricky for me because it takes so much longer to make. The time going into designing a whole new pattern, and then they go, oh no, can you make it 2 centimeters longer here or there? And then I've got to rework the whole pattern. So I don't do that as frequently. I would rather design a new bag and then say, this is my new bag, and then I will custom make for people in their choice of color or fabric. So yeah.
That's amazing.
So sometimes I make a batch and I put it on my Instagram and then into my online shop if it doesn't sell on Instagram. And sometimes I'll just go for a month of just doing custom orders. I have a list running. And then,
Oh, that's right.
so I'll contact you and say, right, I'm going to start your bag in a day or two. What colors do you want? And then I pull fabrics and we send photos and we communicate on WhatsApp.
Oh,
and
that's
choose what we
amazing.
want and put the bag together.
Oh, that's lovely.
And my website hasn't had stock in about 6 months. So it's
I
just
have
there.
been on
It's
your
kind
website.
of dormant. It's there, but
Yes.
you can't buy anything because
No,
I
for
don't
sure.
have anything. Because
I've
I've
noticed.
been making stock for the yarn.
Yes, but I think most of the vendors has been in that situation.
I've been sewing since
Yeah.
November, and I can't sew in the school holidays because my child is at home. And
No, you have to rest.
So I draw the line there. So luckily now I've got 2 weeks off.
That's lovely.
And then I'll start again. But everything that I've got, all my remaining stock from here.
Yeah,
we'll
go on the
I'll put it on the Instagram first, just because it's
Visible.
easier that way.
Mm.
And then after about a week of it being on the Instagram, I'll shift everything that's left onto the online shop. And then, so there will be some stock for a while.
Lovely.
I'm very fortunate and I'm very grateful in that I oftentimes can't keep up with demand.
Yeah, that is a great space to be in.
And I enjoy what I do. I don't stock into shops because I don't have the capacity to make for shops as well as to make for just the demand that I have.
For sure.
Because a bag takes time.
Yeah. A good bag.
Yeah. And you know, I have 5 days a week during school hours, and in that time there's also life.
Yes.
And
washing.
Yeah, and buying the groceries.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah. So managing life. So I
60,
probably
60.
Yeah, no,
That's my answer.
Woolworths opens at 7 in the morning.
Oh really?
One day
After
a week,
school run?
And there's one day a week I have to have my child at school at 7 in the morning. So I drop her, I go do the groceries, and I'm home by 8, and I'm
done.
So my time is tight.
No, for sure.
And the most important thing for me with my bags is quality and neatness. So I take longer to make something. If I've stitched something and I look at it and I go, that's crooked, or those stitches overlap and I don't like it, I will unpick.
Yeah.
I don't want to censor. And if I've got something and I'm just worried that the clip on it isn't going to hold, I won't sell it.
Yeah.
Because my name is on it.
Quality control.
Quality.
For sure.
And they're not cheap, but they're not excessively expensive. I think it's value for the materials.
For
that
sure,
go into it
absolutely.
and the time that goes into
Wonderful.
it. Yeah.
So I want to know, having all these beautiful fabrics come to you from all around, right? USA, Singapore, and so forth. And I'm sure it was picked by you, right?
Yeah.
By your hand. And now you make these beautiful products. And you are releasing them into...
I know, it's like my baby.
Isn't it difficult?
You know, the hardest thing for me was initially I would sell to people I knew, or I would do custom orders. So when you're doing a custom order for somebody, you're communicating with them.
Yes.
So you sort of get to, you don't know what they look like necessarily, but you get to have a relationship with them.
For sure.
And you send your bag off to them. Then I opened a website. And I got these anonymous orders, and I'd put a bag in a box and send it off to someone, and I didn't know who they were. I didn't know where my baby was going to. It was weird. It took me a while to get used to that. So what's been wonderful about the Yarn Festival is I've met so many of my clients who
amazing.
I've communicated with over Instagram or WhatsApp or email, and then it's like, oh, this is you.
Yeah.
You actually get to meet them, which is wonderful.
I think that has been the special
and to
feeling about.
To send things out and to see how people touch them and feel them and appreciate them.
For sure.
Yeah, yeah.
So you come to terms with it.
Oh, you do.
Sending your babies away.
Yeah.
Actually knowing they're going to loving homes.
Yeah.
What is the rest of the year look like for Petal Print Stitch?
I'm going to have a little break now.
For sure.
And then I've got an order list already. People who want things. So I'll do that. And then I've got a couple of new things new bags I want to develop. You know, watching on Instagram, and last year I got some different special zip things that I want to create a new bag for colour work, when you've got all your different yarns to keep them in one place but accessible. So I've got a few new things I want to work on. And then my stepdaughter's coming out apparently in October, so there might be another fabric shop happening.
I want to say, just on behalf of all the knitters and crochets, thank you to the stepdaughter for bringing out the yarn.
She's very kind to do that. And
not the yarn,
just
the
to keep
fabric.
going. Yeah, the fabric.
Listen to me.
And then I think I've got some ideas of other bags I want to work on. So Yeah, and I need to keep more stock on my online shop, but I just, if I have, it's there. And
Yeah.
if it's finished until I have more. It's difficult for me because sometimes I have so many custom orders that I can't also make stuff for my online shop. So I know it's frustrating for people if they want to go and buy something and there's nothing there, but there genuinely is nothing.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
Yeah, so I do my best. And in between all that, I've got lots of knitting I want to do.
So how is it
Far
impacting
too
your
much
knitting?
yarn.
Your knitting?
No, I knit in the evenings.
Oh, right, that's awesome.
Yeah, so little one goes to bed, husband watches TV or whatever, and I knit and watch TV, and I knit in bed.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, my physio says it's not good. I get shoulder pain.
Oh, really? You should stop doing that.
She's
Kathy.
like, no. I'm like, yeah, so I wish
You
I
know
had
what?
more time.
Get a very comfortable, like, couch, not a couch,
Yeah,
chair.
yeah.
A very comfy
bedroom,
chair
because-
in your bedroom.
Because we've got an upstairs, downstairs house, and in the evenings we go up.
Yeah.
You know, it's South Africa. You put the alarm on downstairs.
Yeah,
and
you
we all
know,
go
typical.
up, and the only TV upstairs is
In the
in
bedroom.
the bedroom. So I knit. But my knitting is my sanity.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I love my knitting, and I've become part of such a wonderful community of the most amazing women in Somerset West
For sure.
and the Winelands area, and we get together and we knit
Oh, that's lovely.
and support each other, and they buy my bags.
Oh, that's
It's
lovely.
They're just special people. So
Yeah.
knitting is more than just knitting. It's
Friendships.
what comes with it. And also for me, it's how I decompress, and it's my sanity.
For sure.
If I can just sit for half an hour every evening and it just calms me and grounds me, and I feel better.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I sew in the morning, run around in the afternoon being a mum,
And then
cook
knit
supper, everyone go to bed, then I cook, then I
Oh,
knit.
that's awesome. Kathy, I'm so happy that I have a bag of you.
Oh,
I'm going to treasure it. I will look after your baby.
I'm so glad.
Thank you for being
Thank you for
able.
this.
Oh, it's such a pleasure.
It's been wonderful to meet you.
Yeah, it's been great. I've
Oh,
been loving
see
our
you on
moments.
Instagram, and this whole festival has been so nice. To
It's
actually
been
meet
really
the people
special.
that you get to know, but in a virtual way.
Yes.
To actually meet them in person.
For sure,
is-
I agree
is
fully.
So valuable.
No, for
Yeah.
sure. So thank you for your time.
It's a pleasure.
Enjoy your break, and good luck with the orders. I cannot wait to see what you're going to come up with next.
Yes. And yeah, I've got lots of fabric. If anybody wants anything, I just don't have a lot of red. For some reason, I don't buy red fabric.
Red fabric.
Red just, I've got greens, I've got blues, I've got pinks, I've got yellows, I've got turquoises. And if somebody orders something and go, I love red, I'm like, oh,
Oh, dearie me.
I don't know.
You have to ask your stepdaughter to look for red
I will
red
look for
yarns.
some red.
Ah, not
Yeah,
red yarns, red
yeah,
fabric.
I'll find some.
What is it with
when
me?
So I'll wait until a few months before she comes out, because there is the most amazing fabric that coming out.
Really?
And a lot of the American fabric is actually printed in Japan.
Wow.
The Japanese fabric is just
Oh yeah,
wonderful.
they
The
are.
cottons
beautiful.
and it's just amazing. So I
Wow.
always try and select really unique, beautiful, well
sure.
designed,
Yeah.
and looking at the colours.
So lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
Kathy.
you for having me.